relaxation. If you're new to this class or have never taken yoga before, that is okay. This is a Vinyasa style class, which means that there is a flow-like movement to our sequence. So you'll notice that we repeat poses, and oftentimes we will tie those movements in with our breath. Inhales and exhales often move us in and out of our poses and also help move us into relaxation. I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body throughout the class. Take breaks if you need to. You know your body best. If something doesn't feel right, you can skip it and jump back in when you're ready with the practice. If this is your first time taking yoga class, I do like to point out that at the end of the practice, we finish in a final rest period. We lay flat on our backs where we try our best to remain still. It's a time for reflection. We stay there for about 2 to 3 minutes. It can seem like an eternity, especially if it's your first time, but I encourage you to stick with it. Yoga is not just about the movement that we put in our physical body, it's also about reflection and what goes on the inside as well. And then last thing before we get started, just always check with your doctor before you start a new exercise plan. Today we're going to get started in a seated position. So take a seated position facing the front of your mat. I'm going to turn this way so you all can see me. And bring the bottoms of the feet together so the legs are in a loose diamond shape. So don't focus too much right now on opening up the hips if you're familiar with butterfly pose. Focus mainly on keeping the spine nice and long towards the ceiling as you ground the sits bones into the floor. Hands can be on the knees or wherever is comfortable. Relax the shoulders away from ears and gaze down towards your feet. And we'll start here with a few breaths. All I need you to do in the first few moments is bring your attention to every inhale and every exhale. And start to deepen the breath just a little bit. Drop your chin all the way down towards your chest. Roll your head over to right shoulder and lift head up through center. Again, chin drops down to chest. Head rolls over to left shoulder and up through center. Chin to chest. Then chin up to ceiling, opening the throat. Again, chin lowers down to the chest. Chin lifts up to the ceiling. Then lower the chin to a neutral position. And start to roll the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. Nice, big, exaggerated circles. So we're loosening up the neck, now we're loosening up the shoulders, maybe a little bit of the chest. And we'll reverse direction, bring shoulders up to the ears and down and around towards the front. As big and as exaggerated of circles you can make. Find some stillness. Round the spine, drawing belly in, lowering chin to chest. Leading with the tailbone, start to lift and arch the spine, tilting head up to ceiling. Again, rounding spine, tailbone leads the way, dropping chin to chest. Lifting and arching the spine. Nice and slow, head tilts up to ceiling. Do this a few times back and forth at your own pace. Using your inhale to lift and arch the chest, and your exhale to round the spine. Then again, settle into stillness with the spine upright. Draw the heels in a little closer towards the body, starting to open the hips a bit more, pressing firmly into pinky edges of the feet. Spine stays long to ceiling, gaze is down towards the hands. Hands are in the front at the feet. The closer you draw the heels to the body, the more sensation you'll begin to feel in the hips. So it's up to you how much or how little sensation you'd like to create. And just focus on the breath. Now separate the legs nice and wide, flexing the feet, placing the fingertips slightly behind you at your sides to help find length through the spine. If legs feel tight here, soft bend in the knee will bring some ease. If you're feeling pretty flexible in the hips and in the inner thighs, you can bring the hands around towards the front, leaning forward from the hips, as long as the spine doesn't start to round. So leading with the chest, spine is long. Feet are flexed, legs are engaged. Opening up the insides of the legs here. Walk the hands back to the sides of the body if they're not there already. Right knee bends, bringing the bottom of the foot close to the inside of the opposite leg. Left hand crosses over to that bent knee. Right arm extends up towards the ceiling. Foot is still flexed on the extended leg. We're twisting our chest and our belly towards the bent knee, adding a little bit of a twist. Opening up the right side of the body. Then hand lowers down to the floor. Both hands return to our sides. We'll open the legs back up. Left knee bends, drawing bottom of the foot close to opposite leg. Right hand crosses over. Left arm up to the ceiling. Take a few breaths here. Belly and chest towards bent knee. Lower hands down to the sides, open the legs. Bring both legs together so they're extended down the length of the mat. Bend right knee, placing your foot to the floor, then let the knee fall down to the floor. Slight bend in the extended leg. Inhale as you lift both arms overhead. Exhale, Janu Shirshasana. Hinging forward at the hips, dropping belly to thighs, dropping hands to floor, gazing down towards the leg. Ground the sits bones into the floor, lead with the ribs, find length through the spine. Belly is extremely close, but I prefer it to be touching the thigh to keep the low back safe. And if you're pretty flexy here, you can start to straighten the extended leg just a bit. Don't lose the length in the spine. Slowly lift the spine up, right hands return to sides of body, right leg extends down the length of the mat. Left knee bends, foot to floor, knee falls down to floor. Slight bend and extended leg. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, Janu Shirshasana, belly dropping towards the thighs, hands fall down. Try to keep the shoulders in line. Belly's engaged. Lift the spine upright. Straighten the left leg down the length of the mat. Soft bend in both knees, heels stay to the mat. Send the hips and the pelvis forward. Again, inhaling arms overhead. Exhaling to Paschimottanasana. Forward fold, belly to thighs. If you have the flexibility, you can hold on to the back of the heels, lead with the chest, lengthen spine. If you need some ease, bend the knees a little more. If you're looking for a little more sensation, wiggle the hips back. Start to straighten the legs. Don't lose contact belly to thigh. And breathe. Still relieving tightness in the legs, but also starting to lengthen the spine here and engage the core. Lift the spine up right back to ceiling and swing the legs behind you, meeting me in a tabletop position on your hands and knees, wrists stacked under shoulders and knees stacked under hips. Fingertips spread nice and wide on the mat. Lift the left arm up to the ceiling, reach through tips of fingers, then thread the needle, passing it through the right. Dropping down to the shoulder, bringing cheek to mat. And then find a comfortable position with right hand so that the shoulder can relax a little bit here as you breathe into the twist. Opening up the shoulders and the back. Firmly plant right hand to the floor and press yourself back to a tabletop position on the hands and the knees. Right arm extends up to ceiling, reach through the tips of the fingers and thread the needle, lowering shoulder down to mat, bringing cheek down to mat. use left hand to help press yourself back into a tabletop position. Lift up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, heel in line with hip. Draw belly in to flatten the back. Draw right knee in towards the chest into a tabletop crunch, drawing the knee as high as you can so you can step or place the foot into lunge, ankle below knee, foot in between the hands. Draw the breath in through your nose as you lift right arm up to ceiling, drawing belly in. Exhale out through the mouth, fingertips return to the floor. Inhale, arm lifts to ceiling. Exhale to lower. This time, lift both arms overhead, out in front, up overhead. Deep breath in through the nose. Pause and exhale here. Thighs are energetically drawing towards one another, finding length through sides of body, out through crown of head. Shoulders relax away from ears. On your next exhale, return fingertips to mat. Extend your forward leg long behind you, point through the toes, and return to tabletop. Left leg extends, heel in line with hip, draw belly in. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, around the spine, lift the knee up nice and high, step or place the foot into lunge, ankle below knee. Draw the breath in through your nose, lifting left arm up to the ceiling, drawing belly in, gazing up to ceiling. Exhale out through the mouth, fingertips return to floor. Breath in through nose, arm up, foot stays flat to mat. Exhale, hand to floor. Breath in through nose, both arms up overhead. This time, pause and exhale here. Find the length through the sides of the body. Tuck the ribs in closer towards the pelvis. On your next exhale, fingertips return to the floor. Extend the left leg long behind you, pointing through the toes, and return to tabletop. Stay up on the tips of the fingers as you round the spine into cat pose, tucking chin to chest, drawing belly in, and holding here, not holding the breath. Creating some space between the vertebrae. Return to tabletop. Then lift and arch the spine, letting belly hang to the floor, gazing up, opening the chest, holding here. Settle into child's pose, bringing hips all the way down to heels, resting forehead on the mat, separating the knees to make some space for your belly and chest. Take a few deep breaths here and finish our warm up. If you feel any discomfort in your knees or your hips, try puppy pose instead. So on elbows and knees, elbows under shoulders, gaze in between the knees. Whichever position you're in, breathe into the back side of the body, deepen the breath just a bit. You are more than welcome at any time to come into a rest position during the class, whether I cue or not, and jump back in when you're ready. Just a friendly reminder to always practice for your body, practicing for you and you only, not for me, or maybe somebody else in the room, or your ego. Slowly rise back to tabletop as you draw the breath in and exhale. Lift up to tips of fingers. Extend, plant your hands flat to mat. We're gonna take a down dog, tucking toes onto the mat. Start by lifting knees into the air, drawing belly in. Keeping the knees bent, we'll send hips up to ceiling, pressing belly back towards thighs, gazing between the feet. Fingers are spread wide, pressing firmly into the pointer finger and thumb. Drawing low belly in. Slight outer rotation of the upper arms to help hollow the armpits and engage the shoulders. Deep breath or two here. Now look forward, shift the weight forward, step or place your right foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of fingers. Knee is right over the ankle. Step up to half lift, feet together, hands to shins, back is flat, gaze is to the floor. Lower to forward fold, gently bend the knees, drop your belly to your thighs, let arms and head reach and hang towards the floor. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, and one vertebrae at a time, start to round yourself up to a standing position. Don't rush this part, take your time. Once you're all the way at the mat, stay nice and tall with purpose, extending tall towards the ceiling, rooting down through your feet. Palms your face forward. Take a deep breath in through nose. Exhale out through mouth. Next inhale brings both arms overhead. Gaze up. Lower to forward fold. Hands come together down through heart center. Hinge forward from the hips. Gently bend knees so belly can touch thighs. Arms and head hang to floor. Rise, half lift, flatten your back. Hands to shins. Draw shoulders away from the ears. Step back into a plank position. Bend your knees so you can plant your hands. Step back into plank and drop the knees to tabletop. Lean forward for chaturanga until shoulders pass the wrists. Bend the elbows, keeping them close to the body so chest and chin come down to mat, and then lower the hips down, tops of feet to mat. Elbows up to ceiling. Press hip points into the floor, draw belly into spine, draw the breath in, lift the chest to baby cobra. Shoulders wrap behind the heart. Press to child's pose, hips to heels. Or taking your alternative pose, puppy, elbows to mat, whichever feels best for you. Take a breath or two here. Meet me back in a tabletop position. Spread the fingers nice and wide, tuck toes onto mat. Lift the hips to down dog, hips up to ceiling, belly back to thighs, knees stay bent. Unless you're a little familiar with the pose, you're more than welcome to take it a step further. If you're not as familiar, we're going to start here. Options to increase sensation a little later. Deepen the breath. Look forward, shift weight forward, step or place left foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of pointer and middle finger. Look forward. Step up to half lift, feet together, hands to shins, back is flat. Slowly lower to forward fold, bend knees, drop belly to thighs, and tuck chin into chest and start to slowly round the spine up to a standing position. Once you make it up to standing, draw a breath in, lift both arms overhead, gaze up towards the hands. Exhale to forward fold, hands down through heart center, belly drops to the thighs, arms and head hang to floor. Rise, half lift, flatten the back. Step your right foot back into a lunge, bringing fingertips to floor. Drop the right knee down to the mat and uncurl the toes. Draw the breath in through nose, lifting both arms overhead. Exhale out through the mouth, fingertips return to floor. Step back into tabletop, hands and knees to mat. Lean forward for chaturanga, shoulders past the wrist. Bend the elbows, keep them close to body. Chest and chin come down, and then the hips, tops of feet to mat. Draw the belly in as you lift chest off the mat, baby cobra, breath in. Exhale to your chosen rest position. Child's or puppy, taking a breath or two here. Rise to tabletop and find down dog, hips up to ceiling, belly back towards the thighs. Deepen the breath. You're more than welcome to skip down dogs if you start to feel tired. It is a total body stretch. I know there's a lot going on in this pose. You are welcome to skip a pose and jump back in when you're ready. Step your right foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of fingers, send the chest forward. Step up to half lift as you breathe in, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold, belly to thighs. Tuck chin into chest and round the spine up to standing. Nice and slow. Once chin lifts from the chest, deep breath in, arms lift back overhead. Exhale, forward fold, belly returns to the thighs. Inhale, half lift, flatten your back. Exhale as you step your left foot back into lunge, lower knee down to mat and uncurl the toes. Energetically draw the thighs close to the midline of the body. Draw a breath in through nose, lift both arms overhead. Exhale out through mouth, returning fingertips to floor. Step back into tabletop, hands in the knees. Lean forward, chaturanga. Elbows close to body, lower all the way flat. Inhale, lift chest, baby cobra, shoulders behind the heart. Exhale to your rest position, child's pose or puppy pose. Inhale to meet me back in tabletop. And exhale to your downward facing dog, hips up to ceiling. If knees are bent and you'd like to take it a step further, try straightening just one leg at a time, maybe the right leg, pressing the heel towards the floor, feeling the sensation in the legs and in the body. Don't lose the length of the spine, still pressing into pointer finger and thumb. And then try switching, straightening the other leg and holding for a few breaths on that side. Everyone deepen the breath. Look forward, stepping or placing left foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of fingers. Step up to half lift as you breathe in, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold, belly comes down to thighs. Try to draw the inhale out as you rise to standing. And exhale at the top. Both arms overhead, hold here, gaze is up, don't hold the breath. Next exhale moves you into forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, flatten your back. Exhale as you step your right foot back into lunge. Left knee is stacked right over the ankle. Bring your hands to your forward thigh and extend the arms overhead into high lunge. Hips are squared towards the front of the mat, actively pressing out through right heel. Left knee stacked over the ankle. Left knee tracking towards pinky edge of the foot. Hug those ribs in close to the body. Square shoulders away from ears. Open to warrior two, facing the right side of the mat, rotating the right heel down, making contact with the floor, lowering arms to shoulder height. Hips and shoulders face the long edge of the mat, gaze is out over left hand. Left knee still tracking towards pinky edge of the foot. Press firmly into pinky edge of right foot. Lower to side angle, bringing elbow down to your thigh, right arm frames the ear, twisting and lifting our chest towards the ceiling, holding here. Breathing into the chest as we engage our core, increase our lung capacity, strengthen our legs. Rise back to warrior two. Find reverse warrior, left arm up to ceiling, right arm relaxes. You can straighten the forward leg if you want a little bit of ease, or keep the knee bent to keep strengthening that leg. Return to warrior two, knee stacks over the ankle, and windmill the arms down to lunge, lifting right heel back off the mat. Step back to plank position, drop the knees to tabletop. Lower down to chaturanga, keeping elbows close to body, all the way flat. Inhale, lift chest, baby cobra. And exhale to your rest position, child's or puppy pose. Take a few deep breaths here. Bring all your attention to any sensations you feel in the body right now. And there's no right or wrong answer, just want you to be present in the moment, present with your body. Deepen the breath, filling up the sides and the back side of the body. Maybe one more full, complete breath here. On your next inhale, meet me back in tabletop. And use your exhale to take you back to downward facing dog. If you're working on straightening the legs, keep playing with straightening one leg at a time. You can work here for the rest of class, or if you're feeling up to it, trying to press both heels down to the mat, keeping equal weight in the hands and the feet. If you try to straighten both legs and you notice you lost some of the length in your spine, return to knees bent. Look forward, stepping or placing right foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of fingers. Breathe in as you step up to half lift, flatten your back. Exhale as you lower to forward fold. Inhale as you slowly rise to standing. Let the chin lift up last, then exhale at the top. Next inhale, lifts arms overhead, gaze up. Hold here, don't hold the breath. Engage your core, root down through your feet. Find length up towards the sky, up to the ceiling. On your next exhale, lower forward fold, belly, thighs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you step left foot back into lunge, right knee stacked right over the ankle. Hands come to forward thigh, extend arms overhead, high lunge. Take a few breaths here. Open a warrior two, facing the left side of your mat. Left heel makes contact with the floor, gaze is out over right hand. Lower to side angle, elbow comes down to thigh, left arm frames the ear. Lift and twist chest up to ceiling, keep the core engaged. Rise back to warrior two, arms at shoulder height. Right arm lifts to reverse warrior. Straighten that forward leg if you want a little bit of ease. We're holding here. Returning to warrior two, knee bends if you straighten the leg, and windmill arms down to lunge, hands to mat. Step back into plank, drop knees to tabletop, and lower to chaturanga, elbows close to body. Breath in through the nose, lifting baby cobra. Breath out through the mouth into your rest position. On your next inhale, return to tabletop, hands and knees. Exhale takes you to downward facing dog. You can take any variation that you're comfortable with, finding ease with knees bent, finding a little bit of movement. If you're familiar with three-leg dog, any variation you like, take it now. Last down dog of the class, deepen the breath. And when you're ready, step your left foot into lunge. Step up to half lift, flatten your back, breath in. Exhale, forward fold, belly down. Inhale as you slowly rise to standing, and exhale at the top. Bring your right arm up towards the ceiling, reach through the tips of your fingers, root down through left foot. Take your left hand, pointer finger in the thumb, wrap it around your opposite wrist. Find some more length up towards the ceiling and add a side bend over to the left. A lot of spinal twisting, so just getting a nice side stretch here. Slowly rise back up to ceiling. Lower arms down by your sides. Left arm comes up to ceiling, reach through the tips of the fingers. Right hand comes up, pointer finger and thumb wrapping around the wrist, finding some added length before adding the side bend. Rooting down through left foot, lifting chin from chest, core is engaged. Rise back up to ceiling. Lower arms down by your sides. Deep breath in through nose, arms back up overhead, gaze up. Exhale out with your mouth, lower arms down at your sides. Again, breath in, arms up. Breath out. One last time, deep breath. Slow exhale. Lower your chin to your chest. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Take a few moments here with yourself. Lift your chin from your chest, lower arms down at your sides. Again, breathing in, lifting arms back overhead. Exhaling to forward fold, belly comes down to thighs. Inhaling, half lift, flattening the back. Stepping back into a plank position. I'm going to hold this plank for 10 seconds here, but if you're tired, you can lower down to your belly. We're all getting there eventually. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Make your way all the way down to your belly. Lower your arms along the sides of your body, turning your head to one side so you can rest on your cheek, wiggling shoulders away from ears to make some space. To help relieve or release the low back, bring big toes to touch, but let the heels fall away from one another. Deep breath in through nose. As you exhale out through mouth, melt onto your mat, let everything go. Gently turn your head to the opposite side, and we'll take a few rounds of breath here as well. Bring your chin to your mat, place your hands underneath your shoulders, and press yourself into your rest position one final time. Deepening the breath for a breath or two. Slowly rise to tabletop, hands and knees. Cross the ankles and send the hips down towards the mat. Let the legs come forward in a seated position. If that's not comfortable for you, however you make it to seated is fine with me, as long as we're all sitting in the center of our mat with legs extended forward and feet flexed. Ground your sits bones onto the floor, find some length through your spine. Lift both arms overhead, drop chin to chest. Around the spine into rounded back stretch, placing hands to the knees, thumbs on the inside, elbows facing long edges of the mat. On your next exhale, melt the shoulders away from the ears. And try to draw your breath to the space you feel the most sensation as we relieve a little tension around the spine. Slowly start to uncurl the spine, finding length towards the ceiling, right into staff pose, planting hands on either sides of your hips to help you find some added length before relaxing to neutral. Bend your knees, planting your feet on the mat. Place your hands on the back side of your legs, and as if you've been punched in the gut, we're gonna hollow out our core. And as we engage our core, we'll slowly roll down until we're flat on our back. Nice, slow, and controlled. Strengthening the core. Once you're flat on your back, draw both knees in towards your chest. Interlace the fingers, hold below the knees, and draw thighs close to body. Feet are side by side. If that's uncomfortable on your knees, you can hold on to the back of the thighs instead. Relax shoulders onto mat, low back onto mat, and gently tuck your chin in towards your chest. Gently rock side to side. Slowly find stillness. Place hands on back and thighs if they're not there already, and extend legs up to ceiling into our inversion. Heels line up over the hips, and we'll hold here for about 30 to 45 seconds. If you start to find that you need some ease of this pose, you can find some ease by drawing the knees closer to the body, but still keeping the heels elevated. Thighs are nice and close to chest. Know as we hold this pose that we are improving our circulation and helping to induce relaxation by calming our nervous system. Slowly exit the pose, drawing knees all the way into chest, lowering heels down towards the body. Place your arms along the floor at shoulder height, palms face up to ceiling. Let your knees fall all the way to the right into recline spinal twist, and head turns to the left. If you need a little ease here, maybe feeling a little pinching, or maybe just not quite comfortable, lower the knees away from the hands. Lessens the twist. We've done a lot of twisting today anyway. Let your left shoulder drop to the mat. And if you're comfortable doing so, close the eyes as we're closing out the practice. Starting to turn our focus inward, moving away from the physical part of the practice. Slowly draw knees back to the center of the chest and let them fall over to the left. Head turns to right. This time, right shoulder presses down towards the floor. Draw knees back to the center of your chest. Interlace the fingers, holding below the knees, drawing thighs close to the body. Once again. Slowly lift your head to meet your knees. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. As you slowly exhale out the mouth, find your final resting position, laying flat on your mat, taking up as much space as you can. Eyes are closed and palms face up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, let the body hang heavy onto the floor. Let everything go. Relax your brow, the muscles around your eyes. Separate your upper and lower jaw. And bring all your attention to your breath. Following every rise and fall of the belly or the chest. Allowing each exhale to relax the body a little bit more. your focus has wandered, bring your attention back to your breath. And give acknowledgement that breath is a life force. And every time you inhale, you're breathing in this life force, breathing in this energy to help you accomplish your goals and reach your aspirations. Every time you exhale, a little more stress, doubt, and anxiety just leave the body. Start to deepen the breath now. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Welcome movement back to the body. Gently roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side, maybe using your arm to support your head like a pillow. And keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered to the floor, slowly press yourself up into any comfortable seated position. And take your time. If you're not quite there yet, it's okay. Just keep an ear open so you know where we're headed. As always, to finish class, we take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through mouth. Today we'll take a 3-part breath. We'll break the inhale into 3 parts as well as the exhale. Breathing belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. So that we're all together, we'll all start on an exhale. Press out all the breath you have in the body. Breathe in through the nose, filling belly first. Filling ribs, filling chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Breathing into belly for 2. Ribs and chest. Exhale chest, ribs, and belly. Breathing into the belly last time. Breathing into ribs, breathing into chest. Exhaling from the chest, from the ribs, and from the belly. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking this time for yourself and your practice. I'd like to thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. There is a light that exists within me that honors and respects the light that exists within each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. I believe this is the last class for the semester. There will be classes over the summer, however, not as many styles, and the schedule will be switched up. So keep an eye open for that. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope to see you when the summer semester begins. Have a great day.